Your Mac system captures and collects all the data you need to run your business, but too often each new question requires time, money, and resources to develop a new custom report. So how do you achieve the business insight you need while eliminating the need to write unique reports? Excel Analytics. Excel Analytics saves you money and time by simplifying your reporting processes. Instead of answering each new question with a new report, you can utilize the powerful and familiar features of Microsoft Excel to quickly and easily get the answers you need through a series of customizable pivot tables. The benefits include significant cost savings, no need for in-house Crystal expertise or consulting. Users can redesign reports by themselves in seconds. Significant user flexibility. You can slice and dice your data any way you wish. It's easy to learn. If you know Excel, you're almost trained already. Excel Analytics is connected directly to your SQL database. There is no need to copy and paste data. You refresh data with a couple of clicks. Best of all, you can be up and running in as little as 3 hours. The first thing I want to show you is how Excel Analytics reads your Max data directly. I just entered this sales order, number 1084, to Durham Grill, 3 line items, each for a quantity of 5 pieces. Let's go to Excel Analytics. This is the contents page of Excel Analytics. Every item in these lists is a hyperlink to a worksheet that's reading your Max data directly. I just booked a sales order. Let's go to the sales bookings sheet. This is a pivot table. Pivot tables just read your data. They can't overwrite your data. They can't delete data, so they're very safe to use. And if you're not familiar with pivot tables, they're very easy to get familiar with. I just added a couple records for Durham Grill. Let's refresh my data. Couple of clicks, and there are the records I just added. It's just that fast. Now, I would like to see a subtotal of my extended price. Here's what I can do. If I right-click in my customer region, it brings up a short menu. I click on subtotal. There are my subtotals. If I scroll down, I can see a bunch of other customers and so on. Okay. In the upper left corner, I have a date filter. Right now it's looking at all dates in 2011. I would like to look at just September, for example. The data immediately are updated. It's just that simple. Let's say I would like to see the part number. Well, that's the beauty of a pivot table. If it's not there, you can add it. If I right-click, it brings up this menu again. The most important item in the menu is the last one, Show Field List. This shows me all the different fields I can add to my report. Each user can add whatever fields he or she wants to add. I'm going to grab part number and drag it and position it where I want. It's just that easy. Now, most of the time that I put part number on a report, I want the description as well. Click, drag, drop. It's just that easy. It added a subtotal, but I don't need that, so I'm going to remove the subtotal. Right-click, uncheck. There we go. And because it's Excel, I can stretch the columns as much as I need. Let's add another field, the booking date. This will allow me to see how much business I brought in each day. I'm going to put that in the first column. I'm going to subtotal by that. Right-click, subtotal booking date. I'm going to remove the subtotal for the customer. There. I now have total dollars brought in per date. Just that fast. Let's see. Let's do it by part number. I'm going to remove part description because it takes up a lot of space and I don't really need it. So I'm going to right-click. So if there's something on my report canvas I don't want, remove part description. It's just that easy. Now, I didn't delete any data. I just took it off of the canvas, but it's still over in my list. But if I take part number, slide it across to the left, and change my subtotals, I now have total units in dollars booked by part number for September. So in less than a minute, I was able to put in a report that gave me sales bookings by customer, by date, and by part number. Every Max customer I've worked with has wanted a sales history report. Excel Analytics has that report. If I click on the hyperlink, it brings me to my sales history by customer worksheet. And one of the nice features about this is it shows me my cost of goods sold and my margins on each line. Many Max users categorize their customers by customer type. I'm going to bring up my field list, go get customer type, drag it across, put it in the first column. And now I'd also like to subtotal my customers. I'm going to right click on my customer column, subtotal, and there we go. I now have subtotals by customer and then another subtotal by customer type. Notice all of the text columns have a drop down arrow. This allows me to continue to filter my records by clicking on the drop down arrow. I may want to exclude customers that do not have a designated type from my list. I can uncheck that and immediately it updates. How about sales history by rep? It's the invoice data all subtotaled by rep. Well, maybe I want to break out my sales history by rep by state. Maybe my reps have many different states and they want to see how they're doing in each area. I can go grab state, drag, drop. There it is, just that quick. Maybe I don't want state. I'm going to remove state, right click, remove, but maybe I want to do it by customer. I'm going to go grab my customer bill to, but customers can also have a ship to location. So I'm going to grab bill to, drag it across, and now go grab ship to, drag it across, and now I can see, for example, John Bonham is the rep for Intel, and we've got 3 different locations. It's broken out just that easily. That's the power of the pivot tables. Excel Analytics has some nice financial analysis tools, such as margin analysis by part. Organized by part number, it shows me all the orders that were taken within whatever time frame I choose. It shows me the unit cost, the unit selling price, calculates the margin percentage, gives me extended dollars, margin dollars. I can look at sales orders or credits. Sometimes I want to look at this in a graphical format. Margin percent by part. Sometimes I want to look at the dollars. Margin dollars by part. And it immediately updates when I apply filters. Let's take a look at only 2011. Immediately it updates. Perhaps I want to look at margin analysis by customer. Instead of having the part number, I've got customer, same data going across, but now let's look at graph. Margin percent by customer, margin dollars by customer. In Max, there is not a good report to help you understand what sales orders are due today in an easy-to-use format. This particular worksheet, Sales Orders Due Today or Late, allows you to organize the data any way you want. Right now, I'm showing some very old orders, but I've got my list sorted chronologically by due date. Shows me my part, current quantity, and what's been shipped, therefore the due quantity. That's a very handy report. Other reports that are very popular, forecast orders. If you are forecasting in Max, this report allows you to see projected sales revenue by month. Many Max users have customer-based pricing. What this allows me to do is review for a part number. I may have many different customer types. This allows me to review that information. Something that's nice is I can filter it and say I only want to see dealer records. So I can quickly review what my price schedule is for dealers and then perhaps switch over to OEMs. This pivot table summarizes your invoice data so you can get top 10 customers in a graph. If you don't want 10, you can change it. You can right-click, filter, pick the top 10 item, and change 10 to whatever you want. And it updates. On-time shipments analysis. Your shipments are classified as either being early, late, or on time. This is comparing the ship date to the due date on the sales order. For the data time that I have selected, I have 7 early, 6 late, 33 on time. Customer master data. This is a list of all my customers and allows me to review how each record is set up very easily. Let's say, for example, I want to review all my customers that are OEMs. Or, for example, maybe I want to use Event Manager to automatically send invoices or sales acknowledgments to my customers via email. It allows me to look at what customers do not have email addresses or fax numbers or so on. This can help you keep your customer master set up as clean as possible. There are some audit reports in here. Cost conversion problems, for example. You have two units of measure in Max, one for the bill of material and one for the purchasing unit. There's something called conversion factor. If these two units are not the same, the conversion factor should not be 1. This can cause huge problems. So this report identifies records you should go look at. Cost type problems. If your part is a purchase part, it should have manual costing. These are part numbers that do not have manual costing. They are set to automatic. Conversely, if it's a manufactured part, it should have automatic costing. These are parts that have manual costing. I should go look at those and fix them as well. There are other audit reports in here. Parts with no cost. Now, you may have some parts that legitimately shouldn't have a cost, so we can filter those out using this drop-down list. Turn off the ones you don't want to see, and then the rest of the data that show up are records you should pay attention to. How about parts with no lead time? Purchased parts should have a lead time. Manufactured parts should have a lead time. These parts don't, so I want to pay some attention to those. Manufactured parts that have no bill of material, or perhaps no routing. Perhaps the part was entered and somebody just forgot to create the routing. This helps you prevent these little problems from popping up and biting you. Actual lead times for shop parts. Part number, different shop order. This is what my lead time is in Max. This is what it actually took. I might want to update that. We've got the same thing for purchase parts. What was your actual vendor delivery time versus what do you have for a standard? Do you do any cycle count analysis? With this pivot table, I can review what happened to my inventory value as a result of cycle counting. I have two part numbers here that were counted twice each. The quantity I had before the cycle count is here. This is what I cycle counted it to, and it shows me the difference. It also shows me the value before the cycle count, after the cycle count, and the difference. So as a result of these 4 cycle counts, I lost $20,000 of inventory value. I may want to investigate that. Cycle count performance. What this gives me is one record for each part number, tells me the last time it was counted, how many times I have counted it, how many of those counts were good, and my overall accuracy. If I go to the bottom of my list, it shows me that I'm only accurate 61% of the time. I need to do something to improve that. I wish I had the time to show you the content of every one of these 50 plus pivot tables, but I don't. If you need to, pause the video so you can review the list. You get all of these pivot tables with Excel Analytics. You will have more reports than you've ever had before. You can customize the reports on the go with drag and drop. No more need for in-house crystal expertise or bringing in consultants. You'll have accurate real-time data for current costs, lead times, and scrap. You'll be able to audit your data for parts that are set up improperly for cost, missing costs, bills of material, or routings. Put yourself in control.